I'm Natasha Reeve Gray. I'm one of the principals of Altis Partners, Jersey Limited. We moved here, I think, in 2005, just at the end of that year. Basically, we use the word hedge fund, but it's a bit of a misnomer in the industry in the sense that lots of different types of strategies are underneath that. More specifically, what we do is trade something called managed futures. We trade exchange-traded managed futures. We trade about sort of 190 different markets, and these can vary from sort of financial instruments through to commodities that you would know, crude oil, for example, grains, obviously the usual FTSE, S&P. I mean, there's lots of different markets beneath that, and effectively what we do is we take a portfolio view and we allocate resources within those markets to try and generate the best return whilst obviously monitoring the risk in those markets. There were a couple of reasons. Probably predominantly, the four of us are actually four principals, so I'm one of the three boys and one girl, and we wanted to make the move after starting the business back in the UK in London, which was a great start for us, but actually after a period of time we realised that it perhaps wasn't beneficial in terms of our growing families. We all have children, various different ages, and trying to commute. And trust me, although it's meant to be 20 minutes, it's always about an hour in London. And we looked around for a more convenient place to do business, but of course moving away from London meant that we had to find somewhere that had some good infrastructure, was also close to sort of a major financial area. Otherwise I think we were very small when we actually moved here, and it would have been a problem growing the business. So we looked at all sorts of places. We looked at Singapore, we looked at Dubai, we looked at the Cayman Islands, which sounds fantastic, but I'm not sure we would have actually grown big at all there. And Jersey was brilliant because it was sort of very close to London. Although it takes about an hour on the plane, it's actually only half an hour in the air. It's all the taxiing and safety demonstrations that take the time. And we just felt it was very well connected. And a big bonus, of course, is the infrastructure here. Yes, it's very well financially regulated here, and that was important to us because as a hedge fund in the US you're not highly regulated, but over in the UK you really have to be, and it had the same synergies as we had with the FSA, which is the Financial Services Authority in the UK, and our clients would not have stomached us moving to a jurisdiction that had a lower regime, so that's been a very important factor. So setting up as a business here was, of course, it was difficult in one sense because we were the first people to probably do this sort of thing here. We're a hedge fund, it's an investment fund. They have lots of other financial businesses here, but ours is a little more unusual. So in terms of coming in, we were probably one of the first, therefore of course you come across some hurdles, but actually I think the assistance we've had has been fantastic. I have to say, working with the regulator, and it's called working with, not against, they've been fantastic. They listen, we report back, and we've had so much support. I can't say it was not without any difficulties because I'd be lying, but actually it was easier than setting up our hedge fund in London from day one actually. So of course we were established, so that helped a little bit, but it was good. Yeah, I mean, amazingly, actually. I think when we first came here, we didn't expect to have investors. Now we have international investors around the globe. We have Japanese investors, we have Middle Eastern investors, we have people from the States, and we never expected to see them come here direct to see us. Now, obviously, there are great connections by plane. One of the good things for us is we can get to Zurich and Geneva in a direct flight, and Paris, for example, not just London. But these people come, and they just have no idea that it is so easy. I mean, that's the challenge, is actually explain to them that it's half an hour away by plane. And the connection time, it's not like there's one flight a day, it's usually sort of 7 to 8. So it's been fantastic, and actually they've come. We have probably investor and potential investors come every other week now, if not more frequently. So, and they normally come and stay the night and sample the food, which is a big plus point. Fresh fish. the move for us, I suppose, has been good on many levels. First and foremost, and selfishly, it's probably quality of life and spending time with my kids, and I can say for my other directors as well. That's been brilliant, but also for the fund growth. I mean, when we came here, we were around about sort of 150, 200 million, and now the fund's, you know, just shy of 1.5 billion. So it's very, you know, it's been fantastic on that level. And also for our investors, we have people come and visit us here nearly every other week. We never thought they would, which is one of the reasons why we maintained an office in London. But actually, people come and see us here in Jersey and love the island for all the reasons we do. I'm a mother of 3. It's very important to me that I see my children, you know, when I can, and I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 9-month-old, and it's enabled me to see them. I spend breakfast in the morning with them. I come here. I sometimes even meet them at Pizza Express for lunch with Daddy, and then in the evening I'm home, and I can be on the beach or in the garden playing with them at 6, and that is just something I would not have been able to do in London. Plus, it's safe. You know, when we all moved, as I said, we all had different ages of children, and mine wasn't such a demanding thing as opposed to perhaps Spish, who has older children. But when we actually researched it, we found out that the schooling was excellent here. They'd come very highly regarded in the whole of the British Isles. Also, it was very reasonable in comparison to some of the schools. If you were putting your children privately, then it made a lot of sense, because you have the excellence in schooling, there's the attention to the child, and a beautiful place, I mean, to grow up as well. So yes, no, we were very pleased, and actually all of the children have settled in really well. Mine's starting, he's been at nursery at St Michael's here, and he's starting properly in September, but yeah, no, we're very, very pleased. You can't imagine how frustrating it was getting on the tube or train in the morning in London, and a journey that should take 20 minutes takes actually an hour and a half. Trying to do that twice a day became very, very tiring, particularly when you have young children, and all of us do. At the time in London, I had a young child of about 1, and I just wanted to be home as quickly as I could. And here, of course, I literally take 7 minutes commute. I walk out my door, I drive through the country, 7 minutes to get to work, and I can see them in the morning for breakfast, and I can see them in the evening for dinner, and I'm playing on the beach with them by 6:30, or I'm having a nice time in the garden with the dog, or it's just been a dramatic change in comparison to how I was in London.